So to, in fact, allow corruption to thrive in every professional area, and to target people who are less educated and less professional, sick and disabled for abuse, is a crime against humanity. So they rigged the system to kidnap my daughter. They wrote me a letter to say they're going to leave my daughter alone now that she's turned 18, but they won't leave me alone. Through social media, because they know I'm socially isolated. I've never said in the public that I was alone, socially isolated. I only said it when I found out that I was being defrauded and information was used against me. To say what the government has been doing through corruption to corner me like a rat. And yet they're the rats. I also have contacted social media, which was Facebook and YouTube, to find my own Christian community. And the more I've done that, the more I realised that they are taxpayers. They have enabled the corrupt government through gossip and disinformation and demonising humanity, such as she's cuckoo mad, she doesn't do her laundry. I've got my bra here, I'm going to be doing my laundry. And if I can't open the powder box because it's stuck and jammed, I don't try and unjam it. I use common sense to use my kettle to unjam the powder box for my washing machine. Try and open it, yank it open. If that doesn't work, don't break it, use boiling water. Likewise, in the same paraphrasing sense, boiling water, that means extreme truth, is the only way to get rid of extreme lies. An extreme insult that is being added to my injuries which they have created. I have so much wrong with me. From head to foot, from foot to head. Being outnumbered and overpowered by corruption in every type of professional world, financial world, economical world, because of being unemployed in my status as a marginalised person, ethnic minority person, anything that's special about me, beautiful about me, right about me, they would turn it around and say it's wrong about me, it's ugly about me. So this is what they've done, and it's enabled. So it's very important I do this video, if it's not an appeal, to provoke the enemy, because they've provoked me. All they've done for the first time in 5 years or 6 years, I have used social media compared to them using it all their lives. Ever since technology had started, more than 20 or 30 years they've been using technologies. And what makes me do this video is the fact that I want to ask the question to the members of the public: why is it that they have allowed criminals, high-profile criminals who are heavily involved with politics, they have allowed criminals to go through my contact list to find out exactly who I know, exactly who's texting me, exactly who's helping me, exactly who's not helping me, through contact lists on any phone device I have, through my voice that they have stolen. I've very rarely used Google with my microphone. So they have illegally stolen my voice to track and trace me through my birthday, date, through my voice. Now they have facial recognition, and through contact list on any phone device, through location on any phone device or laptop or computer, they would corrupt it and totally destroy it for preventing me from making any progress and anything positive. So nearly 20 years of my life, I have noticed, I'm educating myself, that they have targeted me as a minor personality disorder, paranoia, which is a wrong diagnosis for mental health, during my divorce, the worst time of my life. And they have put psychiatrists on my path to do mental health assessments on me. Again, that's illegal. I haven't given them the consent to do that. I've only gone on there to educate myself on mental health services and what they do, and to find the correct diagnosis for me, which is sleep deprivation, insomnia, and surviving trauma, and all connected to how I would need to recover my mental health. So what does that mean? And I studied it against the astrology, against the occult, against witchcraft as a Christian woman. I've gone through the biologically proven Diane Turner, which is a personality compass. And I've compared that book, which is scientifically proven, on our personalities. So I'm sanguine, pessimist, optimist, and all of this, and compared that to the biblical sense, which is through Jesus Christ. I have to compare it because any area of law and any area of professionalism, the Holy Spirit of truth is also compared through the Holy Spirit, through the holy books. But the main book is the Bible. We used to swear on the Bible when we go to court because it has been through hell and through every type of discretion or any type of discrimination for positive or negative has been tested through the fires of hell and through the heavenly fires. So there's two fires, there's two elements, there's the heavenly realm and the hell realm. And it's the oldest holy book from all the other books. The Quran is also copying the Torah. The Torah was there before the Quran. And so they're having this conflict to say you can't have the Bible in courts anymore, it will offend the Muslims, and you have to convert to a Muslim or you'll be death threatened, or you have to convert to Christianity or you will be death threatened. This is all created. You have to have Black Lives Matter because white lives are white supremacists, and they're threatening people constantly for these extreme views rather than having an open discussion about it. And so I test everything through the Bible to have my discernment, to have the truth revealed, to have the test of the Spirit revealed, if it's genuine or not. Test everything. So I've gone to the Bible regarding my personality, and the very ones who have attacked me are the very ones who have a personality disorder, who are mentally insane. Cuckoo. So through the Holy Spirit, what has been revealed to me, that I'm not going to say the entire thing on this video, just very briefly to provoke my enemy to anger, just because they won't know what I'm talking about, because I'm not going to reveal it, waste my time, waste my money, and waste the truth on the liar. I'm not going to reveal all of it, because they would only attack the truth. That's why God says shut the door and pray in private. Shut it. Don't let them... I nearly sneezed, it ended up being a cough. Don't let them know the truth, because the truth sets us free in the privacy of our home. But I'm at the end of my tether because I suspect they've put secret cameras in my loft and are invading my privacy. I can't have privacy. And it's disgusting what they're doing. And the very ones that know this and are advocating for the truth as devil's advocates, who the truth is revealed to, are disrespecting the truth. So there's too many of these devil advocates And there's too many of those that use the holy word of truth that are mixing it with a lie, revealed on a personality disorder or crime or corruption. So here goes. This is the basic overview of a corrupt personality or paranoid personality that I'm going to speak in my terms, in my code, that people are not going to understand because I'm not going to give it away. I'll keep it to myself and my loved ones and those who honor me and honor God. And here is. So the personality disorder, according to the Holy Spirit and the scripture and all the saints, is revealed to me is those who have a both mixture of, who are a bit of both, north-south or south-north, in a perfect cycle, soul cycle, come across as angels, good guys, false good guys, but they're actually devils in disguise. It's a perfect cycle. But when they are unstuck either in the north or unstuck in the south, that means they mix truth with lies, they in that case are evil, rotten to the core, who are claiming to be perfect through fame and fortune, but in fact they are the worst. So they are, as I say, in this unstuck category or the perfect cycle. Because the north representing the cats and the south representing the dogs need the most purging according to the holy books of Ezekiel. They're the worst perverted human beings that are no people. Some of them who have repented and allowed the Holy Spirit to reform them will then become stuck in either north or south. But that is very rare that they remain still, because God says, be still and know that I am God. So that God is the potter and you are the clay as a human, where God will change and rearrange your person and your traits, your, to not to be a traitor. So your personality, that is a definition of who you are as an identity. So they target people for identity theft the most because they don't know who they are. As a role model, as their main persona, characteristic, the good and the bad is never admitted. They're always constantly aiming to be someone that they're not. This is the definition of the entire book of Diane Turner, which is it's a book that has been studying the personality compass and disorders. However, it's not done through a Christian perspective. And so I've studied this to oppose my father, who's a professional astrologer and occultist, to oppose all of them that are anti-Holy Spirit and anti-Christ, and for me also to insist I am who I am, with God, who says I am who I am, who I want to be, but I am not a goddess. There's a fine boundary to say, I don't want to be worshipped, neither do I want to be insulted. And so this is the definition of a new creature in Jesus Christ. We know who we are in Christ. Our virtues are not being sold. We are not there for fame and fortune only. We are there for faith. So the necessity of living by faith. And so it's important for me to lose weight after being incapacitated for a very long time and struggling with my disability. And I'm drinking plenty of tea, herbal tea, and to flush out a lot of toxins and detoxinate, and then do my daily exercise every day. And so it's a very bad society as a result. of paying taxes to a corrupt government that can kidnap and get away with it. That can steal all my contacts, can track and trace me on new technology, and target me for incrimination, demoralization, and dehumanization for no good reason. I mean, if I actually was a child abuser, it would make sense. However, I'm not a child abuser, so it doesn't make any sense that they would target the innocent, which then, for injustice, they would target single women and migrants living in England for all types of human rights abuses, even death threats. In the United Kingdom, England, that has an organized crime and implemented laws to only suit the very rich, but not suit the very poor. So it's one law for them and another law for the poor. So the left know about this, and the right want to keep this fact, or their fortune and fame for the wrongdoers, the wicked. So the leftists want to keep this fact, who are corrupt, and so does the right in the government. But what makes it more dangerous in the left is that they won't admit the fact as devil's advocate. They're saying, oh no, we want to remove this corruption, we want to remove this, but they don't practice what they preach. Because they want to continue invading the members of the public, our homes, our lifestyles, our livelihoods, our health packages, our social network, which is none of their business, and yet they've put a circle around me which is satanic and devilish to destroy my life, because they hate the poor, their hatred of the poor and the truth. So the corruption, I've got a book here which talks about someone who has a concussion. So the day had not turned very lucky at all. Anyone with the personality disorder of the South dog who is unstuck, the dog type, South, is a extremely negative person, and yet they are all the human dogs, all the human goats that Jesus says, I'm going to separate the goats and the sheep, and Jesus calls them useless. Why? And the answer to that is because they are extremely negative, and if they say something positive or advocate it professionally, they don't mean it. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. So this is awful. Unfortunately, this personality disorder should not ever be trusted, and they're never disciplined for their crimes. So they come across as trustworthy, squeaky clean, perfect, but in fact they're not. And they create a spirit of misfortune and disfortune for everybody, because they're the ones who are spreading disinformation the most, and they delay things the most. They slow things down too much. So I'm going to finish my drink. Hallelujah. So everything in this book talks about someone being in concussion. This happened to me in 2011 or 2010, 2011, around that period. My ex-husband came in to remove all his things out of the loft. He took the floorboards that I have purchased without telling me. One winter I went up in the loft to bring down the blankets and duvet. and I fell through the loft ceiling because it was dark. I had no light in there, and I didn't see what he had done, and so he tried to kill me before he killed himself. And I suffered as a result of that. So everything about a corrupt government is the same as someone who has concussion. You feel lost, if you don't know where you are, you can't have control of things. And this is the whole reason of doing this book, to say it can't be right, and yet they're calling it right. So I need to find, I'm going to use a tissue paper to keep myself marked. So someone who has a head injury will want to cry but cannot cry, which is also part of the big pharma industry for mental health drugs that can make you experience these things as concussion, which is not cool at all. Having a brain injury is a nightmare. You're constantly going through every type of hurt, bump and bruises, and you cannot wake up from this nightmare. But friends can wake up from a nightmare and say, this is a dream and this is a reality. However, the corrupt government and all corrupt professionals and all toxic men that abuse women and children, or anyone who abuse, not only men, but anyone who abuses the weak, the frail elders and the fragile younger generation that is weak and being abused is devilish. So they're the ones who are causing harm to the members of the public. They discover who is sick and then they target them for abuse. So my bank account, all the important numbers I've contacted, my national insurance, my hospital insurance number, all my documents, all my emails, stolen through Google or any other email, on the internet. And the government has enabled this because they know the poor cannot afford very rich and very expensive security packages on their laptops, on their computers, on their iPads, on their mobile phones. So whoever cannot afford these expensive security packages and type of surveillance cameras we cannot afford them, we're being targeted for being unemployed in our status. This is totally out of order. So when I had recovered from my concussion and my head injury, I proceeded to get on with my life as humanly possible. And 2 years later or 3 years later, I went to take my daughter on a child-friendly holiday, insured holiday, child-friendly hotel, and everything went fine. It was my daughter's first time on holiday. And then I realised I was stalked by a plainclothes police officer. And then when we returned to England, he also came to my daughter's gate, spoke to my daughter over the gate as a plainclothes police officer. When I told the judge about this, when they took me to court without warning, rigging the system to kidnap my daughter, they silenced me, they hushed me. So he's involved. He's still involved in my neighbourhood. So that's a huge clash between those status-wise, those who are sick and disabled, unemployed, compared to those who are employed and get to have all their social networks, all the criminals get together, all the conspiracy workers get together, in the name of making fortune and fame for themselves as the devil. So kidnapping should be illegal when there is a situation of being falsely accused, as in my case. So my daughter was emotionally abused by them, not by me, the other way around. At a very sensitive age, at 9.5, in 1st of June 2014, for 10 years they've passed her on to my ex-mother-in-law, they've passed her on to my enemy's camp. Now I don't recognise her, they've changed her personality, they've changed her soul, they've sold her soul to the devil. They've emotionally abused her constantly. I haven't seen her for 7 years, today's date, face to face. And they've made everything wrong that I did that was right. They made everything wrong. So this is what happened. Similar to somebody who has just had a head injury, for example. Again, I'm paraphrasing, returning to the subject of someone who is a hospital patient, or not in hospital but has a head injury and passed out for a week or so from too much grief. Too much grief can cause a head injury. Too much wrong diagnosis of mental health injections or drugs, psychiatric drugs, can also cause an injury. Using the internet and the computer can cook your brain, can cause a head injury. So everything about these criminals is constantly attacking the head, which is the main part of the body, and attacking my feet through stalking, attacking my head through spying. They say information is power. I'm saying no. Disinformation is not power, it is abuse. It's abuse of power. It's abuse of truth. It is truth that sets us free, and the correct information, which the enemy has blocked, so that I make no progress, so that I'm stuck in the same situation, which is a bad smell. All sinners who are not in Jesus Christ are the same as a bad smell. You wake up next to a bad smell. That's how I describe my situation. Forced to be cursed, while the cursed live as the false blessed, the blessed by God are living as a curse because of government corruption and crime against humanity. So, what is real? What is unreal? What is true? What is not true? It has to be reinstated for my feet, my path, in what direction I take, what decision I take, to go somewhere. Stand up, walk. But because I couldn't stand up and walk, that's why they've attacked me the most. On my hospital bed. In the privacy of my own home. Again, it's a subject of where do you go to investigate. Locally, there's nowhere. I'm in the middle of a wasp's nest or a warrior nest that tells me if I don't fight, I can't have my peace. So they're constantly buzzing about in my own private space, my safe space, so that I have no safe space, and constantly lingering or lurking around as a bad smell. Fight, 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 go, 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 go. Where God had said, be still, be still, be still, be still, be still, rest, 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 rest. So they're doing the opposite of what I need for my recovery, which is an attack in my own home, in my safe space, on my social media, what is supposed to be my therapy, what is supposed to be my developing the community that I need. They've destroyed that or interfered where it's none of their business. So this is happening the whole weekend, weeks, months, days. Every time I eat my food, which is supposed to be a social event when you eat your food, gather with your family and friends, can't have that. So if they've removed normality and forced me to live abnormally because of socially isolating me. Again, I'm the rat, I'm the migrant living in England, all hell break loose to get me to make me feel like I'm the odd one out, and all types of negative feelings created by a dysfunctional robot or someone that is a demon in my life that I want to get rid of, and it's impossible to get rid of them. If they're going to spy on my phone, my contact address on technology, that should be illegal. My camera that they have stolen without my permission, I should have the freedom of choice and my civil rights to choose if I want a government to be involved, whether I choose the right or the left. I should be in that position to choose. However, ever since I started using technology, I was not given that choice. I was everywhere, left, right, and centre. So again, all of this should be illegal, and it's not illegal. It's been enabled by the government to target, to discriminate us, demoralise us, or have death threat against us, while they're in their safe havens and their evil shelters to hide as worst hypocrites. And also, they have privatised everything. So all government that want to privatise everything in the public sector are the very criminals that should be in jail and should be scrutinised for potential human rights abuses and child kidnap. Ta-dum! Answer. So there's the answer. I need the statistics of all of those that want to privatise. Who are they? Are they coming from the left or the right? Or is it a bit of both? So as far as I'm concerned, they should be behind bars. They should not be a government. They should not be a professional. Because they have blocked our resources and everything that is God-given freedoms for making crime and corrupt money. Whatever the season, whatever the meal we have, is constantly an invisible enemy, causing misfortune, the spirit of misfortune. So if you look at a TV screen with a dog in it, oh, this is a dog. It looks very friendly. It sounds very nice. But when it starts to do the wrong things, so it no longer is a dog and is a demon, you can switch the telly off. However, with a corrupt government, it goes through the telly, goes through the social media, into your home, into your bank, into your children's school, to meddle and interfere where it's none of their business to. So that's another paraphrasing of what I've tried to explain. And they have their social network, which is everything about lust and puppy love. They get away with, and they entertain themselves. But when it comes to Christians and the most decent civil people in the world, they don't allow us. So they're doing social engineering, social experiments. Therefore, God's people must also do social engineering and social experiments. If they're going to shout at us, we must shout louder. So that's the holy challenge and competition. It's not about me being a monster to destroy the monster, me being a criminal to destroy the criminal. It's actually making the truth louder than the lie and more powerful, more restrictive. Again, ignorance is not power. And it's not cool. It should not be the fashion, and they've made it the fashion in the entertainment system, in all the systems that these criminals have created. Whether it is whatever tyrant it is, it doesn't matter. It's the same demon spirit. So, can a monkey and an ape speak? No, we know animals cannot speak. Can an animal or an ape dress itself and put some boots on? No, unless it becomes a demon, or it's a new creature in the devil, where we have across the genes, where humans have had crossed their sexual reproductive systems to regrow a new creature. It could then be possible for an animal to be mixed with human genes. Again, this is what makes it so scary and wrong. And I suspect that because I have subscribed to certain individuals, such as Gordon Ramsay, the chef, and Hillary Clinton connection, this is why I'm being targeted. Another reason why I'm being targeted for abuse, because they know they've done wrong to me by all types of, I don't even know what they get up to, but all I know is that he's put some Indian gangsters on my path that want to take my life and my daughter's life. Some Indian gangster connected to, again, far-right extremism or far-left extremism. And I have said I want nothing to do with these celebrities, whoever they are. I want them to leave me alone. And the more I said, leave me alone, I have unsubscribed, I'm not interested, I'm not listening, I don't want to know, the more they've attacked me. I shouldn't have to be worried or threaten myself who I subscribe to on YouTube or Facebook, who I'm following, to be threatened, politically or personally, by them for simply subscribing. I mean, how are we supposed to know who we subscribe to or who we're listening to? Again, that's an abuse of power, that I have to be some type of a clairvoyant or psychic, abusing my powers, which I don't want to do, for the wrong reason of consulting God. God doesn't want to be disturbed or called by them. So I don't want to consult God about this. Should I subscribe to this person? Should I unsubscribe from this person? Should I follow this? Say if I followed the whole world, every human being in the whole world, I could follow the whole world. It doesn't matter. If they are good or bad people, it doesn't matter who I follow. The same principle is the safety of the device, of the SIM. Is it secure, or is it going to harm the members of the public? Since it's harming the members of the public, it should be discontinued permanently. It should not be used by adults or children. And yet it is being used and enabled and abused. So what I plan to do is discontinue using a certain network that happens to be Tesco, and eventually discontinue using it, because they're saying they've made a mistake, it's a computer error. I don't believe them, that they've given me two numbers at the same time. It sounds very, very fishy to me, dodgy, that my phones are duplicated, I can't use WhatsApp. So the employed can use these apps, and those who have big families. Those who don't have big families and are unemployed and sick and disabled cannot use these apps. So it's inequality, it's tyranny, and human rights abuse of civil rights. So my spine hurts all the time. If anyone has had a broken bone, it's easier to repair a broken bone compared to a slipped disc. So, or they've said, oh, I have a slipped disc too. Me too, society. But some of us have it worse than others, especially that it has never been drained and it's a bulging disc. It has never been treated on. I had pain relief and that's it. So how on earth is somebody who has an injured spine going to walk past a herd of elephants? In other words, the far-right extremists. So there's corruption, as I say, in both sides. And this is what makes prevent me from ever voting for a government or ever trusting anyone who is professional, because they would spread disinformation and be small-minded as to, or tunnel-visioned into one detail and not the other, so they're not open-minded. They don't see two sides of both sides. They only see one side, which is black and white, like a vision impairment. They only see one way and not the other. That's what makes them small-minded. However, they are able to, they choose not to. That's why it's a criminal and a corruption, because of their choice not to see both sides. They choose the populists, they choose the strongest, they choose the fittest. So again, this is a crime. I choose the strongest, I choose the fittest, which is opposite from what the Bible and the Holy Spirit do. They say that the most fit, are fit for nothing, because they've chosen the lie. It's easy to lie, it's more difficult to be a truth seeker and to be loyal to the truth. So I remember I was crying for an ambulance and I was waiting for 2 hours to be seen. It turned into 4 hours. It turned into 6 hours, only to be turned around and said, take some pain killers and go back home for nothing. That was my experience with the hospital. Who in their right mind would want to go back there? So there's no help anywhere. Everything has been there to suit the working class, and it's annoying. It's provoking me to anger. Why is it only the working class? Should we ask Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and Jeremy Corbyn and all the leftists? They've allowed this. They know it's wrong. They advocated it's wrong in the left government, and yet there's nothing that they can do about it. So why are you parroting about like a parrot all these years, going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about the same thing as a parrot? And as a devil's advocate, they keep going on about the same thing and no change has happened because somebody is above the government that's turned them into puppets. So therefore our government and politicians become useless. And same situation for the right. They do the same thing. They're puppets for the masters that put them on strings and tell them what to say and do, as someone going on the stage who is either a comedian, a clown, or whatever entertainment artist that would go on the stage and speak about something again and again and again on repeat mode for many years, and behind the scenes, behind us or in front of us, they are, in fact, breaking the law. So what are they doing now? It also reminds me of the children's nursery rhyme. The little piggy went to market, the little piggy stayed at home, counting all the toes on the foot. It's tickling me. And here we go, the little piggy went wee all the way home, tickling her fingers and her arm. So I've exposed this in the first place because I'm not a homeowner. So that's why they've made me a prisoner, political prisoner in my own home. tickling and giggling me by an evil spirit, which is a white supremacist theft. And I want nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. And many taxpayers endorse them and say that they have to have everything to do with them or they will lose their business and liquidize. So if that was me, to have to choose to have my business and follow the devil and pay the devil, or choose to follow God, liquidize my business, become a pauper bankrupt on the street, I would rather liquidize my business, become a pauper and die on the street than to remain in the devil's party. So we're going back to Stone Ages as a result. Many businesses are shutting down, and too many are false Christians and devil's advocates, which is horrible. So when someone has a concussion, returning to the old subject, they have horrible tubes going into their body to make them survive, and to be sure that they'll come out of it. So what are these tubes in the medical surgery world going to do when you're very sleepy and exhausted from constant battle, constant abuse, of being harmed by the head injury? And you wake up to the same nightmare that injured you in the first instance. Isn't it better to be dead? The answer is yeah. This is worse than death, to have to be overpowered and outnumbered by the enemy, the same criminal, for 20 years, 40 years, 70 years of my life. And the only solution is to pack my suitcases and leave England. That's not the solution, because the criminal's following me, even abroad. I started in this video saying that the plainclothes police officer from England followed me and my daughter to a hotel in a different country, that is not England, abroad, to our hotel, and he made himself known, popping fireworks at my hotel, and I knew it was him because he gave off a signature of their code, knowing that he was the same criminal. So there's no escape. You can't run, you can't hide. It's a horror. And sometimes people are lucky enough to know other people where they can escape from this horror and will never give up. But the enemy keeps trying and attempting to find you what is your absolute favourite thing and destroy that. Your children, your resources, and your social media. They find me and say, we're going to destroy your children, we're going to destroy your lover, we're going to destroy your spouse, we're going to destroy this. So it's a gangster. These are lunatics and lunatics that are enabled to spread disinformation, number one, beat us up black and blue with actual physical sickness and things that they have made us sick. Number three, they are constantly negative and block any progress. And number five, they interfere with my finances and my ability to be independent. They want to shut down the government aid for disabled. This is coming from the far right extremists. We don't want to pay our taxes because the tax monies. It's a lie to say that the tax money is going towards the benefit system. That's all a lie. They want to shut down the benefit system, and that is the welfare system, so that they can have more money for weapons and war. and bad smell, bad stink. Again, this where the fit survive, who are fit for nothing, versus God's people who are struggling to survive. We should be the ones who are the leaders. We should be the ones who are recovering our fat to be fit, and it's being blocked for a very long time. And so we're going through hell. But the best ways in jogging my memory after a concussion is to do these videos so that I can have copies of those videos in my little pot on a SD card. It's easy to carry in a suitcase compared to a camcorder, which is a lot bigger and more expensive. This is less expensive to just put all my information on this SD card, memory card, to say I've achieved this is mine, not yours. And so I remember seeing Children's Social Services, and I said, I have all these videos and pictures that shows the opposite of what you are writing in your false reports. This is the evidence. And she gave a smirk grin, a disgusting smirk grin, to say, oh yeah, what have you got? Speaking to me like a thug in a professional setting. So to say that my evidence counts for nothing because, again, of my status, my race, and who I know socially. So I'm not an adult as a result of my status being disabled, injured, poor, and single. Independent single woman. Not allowed. Oh, you have a cleaner. What does Gordon Ramsay say? And the white supremacists say? And Hillary Clinton and all these NATO, if it's not NATO, then we call them Nazis. I don't know. They're mixed. They're mixed in the left and in the right. Oh, you're not allowed. You're not allowed a cleaner. You're not allowed any recovery. You're not allowed this and you're not allowed that. Then they would make something in the system that would tell every company I'm using that I'm in trouble with the government. I'm not in trouble with the government. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm not a criminal. It is them who are the criminals within the government, corrupting the government. Are never disciplined, and are never scrutinized, and are never punished for their crimes. Instead, they're making more business and making more invasions of people's privacies using new technology. So the Bible says it will be on our foreheads, the mark of the beast. So when we look at the camera of a designer of the phone, it's always at the top. It's not in the center, it's not on the bottom, it's on the top. So they've made a mark of the beast on everybody, particularly targeting the poorest, Agenda 21. Through the actual device itself, the way it's designed, it is demonic. It's a demon. It's a bad ghost. It's because it's on the top. It's making the mark on the top. So it's Satan copying God. God also made a mark on Cain on the top of his head. So knowing that I belong to God's name and God's family, I'm marked for God, is stronger. So God's numbers, God's personality, God's people also have a mark to say I belong to God. I don't belong to the devil. Since they've done this on our devices, the design of our device is a telltale sign. And most people say, so what? Next, they want to do it within a system. Next, they want to do it in the group of social and education and entertainment. Next, so the list is endless what these tyrants do. If it's whatever tyrant it is, it doesn't matter what tyrant it is. It doesn't matter if it's a Nazi or whatever. A tyrant is a tyrant. So they've done it through design of technology, of our devices. Like we used to be able to make the the Hoover and the washing machine that would last for years. Now the government has made it to you waste money. The equipment will not long last. After 2 years, you have to buy another one. So this corruption in the government is destroying the economy, is destroying the environment, and it's destroying everything. So they're destroyers and the betrayers. And every breath that I take, it is watching me for evil, as bad spies and stalkers, treating me as a football that they can kick while I'm down. So they're the stars for Satan, whereas God's stars and God's fame and God's fortune and God's faith counts for nothing. So how did Satan fall from the sky into a football? So the star that was in the sky is now on the ground to be kicked around by football players. The actual game in itself is being a tyrant, where they can play either with their hands or their feet to glorify Satan through football. So they kick us while we're down, saying, "Oh, I'm going to kick this football," and imagine is the poorest sod over there. Kick the ball or play the game to earn money or to glorify Satan. I'm not saying all football is like that. I'm not saying all our resources is like that. Football can be used to glorify God. Our equipment and everything we have, possess resources, washing machine, television, DVDs, even if it has the original mark of Satan on it, it can override by the mark of God on it. Say, this piece of music is satanic, or film is satanic. So what? If it has the mark of the beast on it, so what? Isn't God's mark greater? Isn't God's saint and the saints' curse stronger compared to Satan's curse? And the answer is yes. If they have a haunting for the devil, there's a haunting for God. So it's Satan versus saint. Our voice, our laughter, and our body, our mind and our head, God will crush the head of Satan, and the feet will bruise its heel. And so they're accusing me of being Satan. I'm saying no. The mark of God and the curse and condemnation against the wicked is stronger against the criminal, not the criminal being stronger against the innocent blood. And many Christians or religious people don't accept this, which is weird. It's odd. It's bizarre. Why are you calling yourself religious when you actually believe that the devil is the rebel angel is stronger and more powerful compared to God and God's people in authority and in equipment and resources that we have and in our children? And the answer is money and weapons. So if I had 24 hours today to help my daughter recover her genuine, real personality, to help her recover the genuine truth in our lives, 24 hours, that's all I need. She would be different. She would rebuke the devil. She would come back awake as if in a coma or a nightmare. That's why they've only made 4 contacts a year, because they know the power of God is stronger than the power of the devil. They know that light is stronger than darkness. They know that life is stronger than death. That's why they've only allowed 4 days contact for 10 years with my daughter. Because they know I would win. Whether I have resources or not, I am her biological mother. She loves me. That's the truth. She's always enjoyed my company more than her being in the company of her father. That's the truth. So they've twisted that. They've warped that. They've changed it and turned around and turned the tables because they have more money and more weapons than me. And all I need is 24 hours contact with my daughter, to eat under my roof, to sleep under my roof, that I am the charge, I am the boss, but they've blocked me. So they've shut God away. They've shut me with the presence of God in my life. They've isolated me, they've silenced me, they've shut me up, they've done death threats in me, they've killed God through Jesus Christ, God's only Son. I had get well messages. How am I going to get well without the right medicine and without the right treatments? All of this is a distraction. So they say, oh, well, you can easily recover. It's the same as a walk in the park. Not when you have too many things wrong with your body and too many wrong things in your life, where criminals are there to blame and shame me for everything that goes wrong in my daughter's life, who I haven't seen for 7 years, and that they are turning into some type of a monster, worshipping a dead man, and being unaware of the fact that he was the one who was the original child abuser, which is an injustice. So this satanic, corrupt government is enabling criminals. The criminals get more power, the criminals get more resources, the criminals get more weapons, the criminals get more money for education and for employment and entertainment. All of this created by the corrupt authority, which is worse than a terrorist. Because he hates the fact, as a white supremacist or black supremacist, particularly that Gordon Ramsay shite, who is one of them, the fact that I have said in my private videos, this is mine. M-I-N-E. What belongs to the orphans, what belongs to God, leave the orphans and the widows alone to God. Let what belongs to Caesar be for Caesar. What belongs for the government be for the government. What belongs to the bank be to the bank. What they have done is these evil bees and evil wasps, they have mixed all that up. The banking system, the environment for the work, the travel system, the employment system, all of that is mixed with corrupt government. So there's death outside, the sword of the devil. There's death inside, the sword of the devil. What about God's sword? What about God cutting your head off? Saying, get out of my home, get out of my neighbourhood, get out of my children's school. You don't belong here. You're the one who's outcast and socially isolated. No, they've increased the devil and devil worshippers and these bad rebel angels, these bad humans, to make it a godless nation, becoming bigger and bigger, more mixed everywhere. So it's a really hopeless situation at the end, where I'm saying that my life, I will be better off dead, not to end my misery, I'm not miserable, but to end constant abuse and to end constant lies spread about me and my one and only child. So even if I was singing carols here, or singing hymn songs, or saying that I have been going as a churchgoer every single day, it would make no difference. The criminals will still murder innocent blood, kidnap, and they will still get away with it. That's the whole point of doing this video, to say, am I appealing? No, I'm not appealing. I want to provoke the corrupt government. I want to pull them out like a fish out of water, a crocodile out of water, and torture and torment them. That's what I want to do. I correct my own self to say I'm not appealing to them. And so everything that they've done to destroy an innocent person's life is a huge thing to make themselves feel great from head to foot. So again, with the children in mind, being as a single mum, abused, Christian woman abused, legal migrant abused, dark hair woman who is not, light hair and light eyes abused. All of these are a telltale sign of tyrants in my life. Too many tyrants all around me. Again, it's not my fault. Hands up. I confessed. I'm guilty. Arrest. I married the devil, so I now have to pay the price for marrying the devil. Shut up. He's dead. I'm no longer married to him, so shut up. So they're saying that my daughter is now her dad. She's an extension of him, and he's alive again because of my daughter. That's also a lie. Shut up. You abusive, child abusing shite. So they're saying that my daughter has reincarnated my ex-husband. So this is how they're making my daughter into a monster. They're saying that she's an extension of her dad. They should shut up. So these child abusers who are abusing my daughter are never scrutinized, they're never punished, and they're constantly getting more money, more freedom, more peace, more joy for the devil. Which is a big problem. There are a big problem. They've made my body too big for not having the correct medical treatment and intervention and everything that I'm supposed to have to recover. They've given me a misdiagnosis. They've given me wrong type of medications. They want to keep me sick forever. They want me to be stuck forever. All of this is wrong. Where do I go for help? There's nowhere to go in my local area. I have to travel for 2 or 3 hours to get to somewhere that could help. And during the process of travelling, my bloody phone is being hacked and they're spying on me on my phone. As I travel to go and find some help, they're travelling with me. So if I leave my home behind and then travel, I could still be attacked because they're watching my home. They've got these helicopters going around flying, getting the map of my home and spying on my home. So whether I take this mobile device with me or not, it doesn't matter. They're still stalking me. So they're a huge problem. They're the big problem. All of it is a big problem. Having them around is the worst thing that could happen to any victim. And they have automatically made all victims as the bad guy, as the villain. And those who are victorious, who have the fortune of money, lots of money and employment status, and who are the populist, famous, it's not the case for them. They're the opposite of me. I'm the stupid one. I'm the ugly one. I'm the one who's the big problem. I'm the one that could never find a mate or a friend. I'm the one that doesn't know how to spell. And all of that is a lie. It's the other way around. So the very primitive, common criminals ganging up against me, making sure I find no help or healing, and so making the next shit show, whether it is left or right or centre, it's still a shit show. Whether I go a holiday abroad or whether I stay indoors and not go anywhere, I'm still being targeted for abuse constantly. Demoralization, discrimination, damnation, death threats, and all the negative D's in the dictionary. The next thing you hear on the news or social media, there has been an accident. She has gone outside for a walk and somebody hit her over by a bus or by a truck. It was an accident, when in fact it was cold blood murder. So all I could do here in this video is cry or choose not to cry, condemn these criminals. To say, whatever door they have shut or opened without my permission regarding my personal private life is a crime. That I have to fix that. And it's wasting my time. It's the distraction. That means I'm being diverted to what I'm supposed to be focused on. I have to focus on this and that now. My head is all over the place. I don't know where I am. And that's exactly what Gordon Ramsay has done to insult me, add insult to injury. And all of them in my neighbourhood have said, you're doolally, you are all these insults that they've said, that I was this and I was that. Again, they should shut up. These adulterated, the same as gay and lesbian society. They should shut up and stop calling me dappy and insulting me and looking at the fly that just come through the window. So they should shut up, and they can never shut up. So I want to put criminal charges against Gordon Ramsay and all of his individuals in the entire neighbourhood that support him. Because he's a private prison guard, apparently. And so all my memories and everything that I have done on social media has been the truth. However, I had to tell accounts of my life events, and mean the opposite, mask them to protect the truth. So I'm not a liar. I simply put a thumbnail or speech, my freedom of speech, knowing that there's censorship. I had to mean the opposite of what I said, unless I said, in the name of God, this is exactly what I've said. To protect myself. So it was as a coded language. And I'm looking at them now. Same criminals. And so they're teaching my daughter to go skiing. They've turned a 19-year-old into a 90-year-old, so she's the grandmother. They've turned somebody who is beautiful into a monstrosity, so I'm the monster according to them. And so why on earth would anybody not want to cross-examine them and say, why are they called a government when they're a criminal? And a war criminal too. I never want to talk about those that want to murder me and call it an accident. I never want to talk about that. And call it suicide. I would never do suicide. Not even if I was once tempted when they tortured me with 115 injections in 2008. Very expensive injections for a wrong personality disorder. I couldn't read, I couldn't write, I didn't remember my name. It was a head injury, my head was twisted like this. Why, for a toxic man, hatred towards a migrant living in England? And for some jealous and envious thug? I'm never going to forget that. So, if they say I'm soft. If my daughter came to me today, would she be the prodigal son? No. Because she has not suffered for her truth. She has decided to accept the lie and to live a lie. So she's not prodigal son in the biblical sense, to say a stubborn and rebellious child had gone away and spent all their money, and then they returned to the original parent and apologized for doing all the wrong spending. Money laundering, sex, drugs, and all of this. Evil holidays. It was as dead, and then he came back alive in repentance. No, my daughter's not that. She's not as a prodigal son. She's never had a father to be disciplined. She's a horrible individual that wants to be her father, because that's what they've obsessed and possessed her mind. They've sold her soul to the devil. That's not my daughter. I don't hate my daughter, but I know that the Bible says mother will be against daughter, and daughter will be against mother, son will be against father, father will be against son, because she has rejected Jesus Christ. And so if she came here and gave me flowers and said, Mum, I'm sorry for the way I've treated you, Mum, will you forgive me and be like a good cow that jumps over the moon? I would say no. Number one, I don't want to see her. Number two, I won't accept any gifts from her. Number three, my daughter is not my daughter anymore. For 10 years, they've tortured her. For 10 years, nearly 12 years now, they've changed her soul. What good is it when you gain the whole world and lose your soul to the devil? Number four, she doesn't like me. She doesn't want to have anything to do with me. So she would be acting as though she does like me and she wants something to do with me. And number five, she's probably having teenage sex and he's now taken over her life, for they're obsessed and possessed with each other as an evil couple. So these 5 reasons why my daughter's not a prodigal son. And why I want nothing to do with her. And how would I want to have something to do with her when she's betrayed me since she was 12 years old? How is it possible that I gave her so much mercy, so many second chances since she was 12 years old up to 18 years old when she had her last chance? Nope. I don't care that you looked after me for 10 years, she said. I don't care that you're sick, she said. I won't bother to contact you, she said. So that was her last chance. From age 12 to age 18, she has rejected me totally because of what the corrupt government has done. So it should be illegal that the fact that I'm as a widow, but I'm not a widow because I divorced her dad, that because I have no family that are abroad or far away, that my daughter now has to go to my ex-mother-in-law and have her brainwash my daughter, and also my foster mum, who's a Catholic foster mum, brainwash my daughter against me and spread disinformation against me. So she's missing a lot of lessons. She's missing a lot of laughter. She's missing out a lot of truth in her life. Again, this is not my fault. It's the corrupt government's fault. Not only do they child abuse in the past tense, they child abuse my daughter's future tense. So that, again, I have to say, I'm not a criminal, I'm not a child abuser, I'm not a child hater, but since my enemy is in control of my child, who is a child until she's 25, she's still a young adult, her brain is still growing until she's 25. She's made that decision to allow the enemy and the bully to carry on bullying her. So my daughter has no choice. And I have no choice to get rid of the bully. Even though they had sent me an email to say Children's Social Services are no longer involved in your child's life, she's now 18 years old, is a total lie. They're watching her at her workplace, they're spying on her while she walks to home, university where she goes for a walk, who she dates, who she socializes with. They're all watching my daughter, what she's doing, what she's learning, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing her growth and development. I'm not seeing anything. So the devil has taken over totally. Totally taken over. Her birthrights, her freedoms in Jesus Christ, all taken over. I had gone out into the social media to find a Christian community that could possibly help me with this. Couldn't find anyone. And those that I did find were too afraid and had their own lawsuits against the government. So everything I have promised my daughter, everything I did to give her a surprise, to say you don't have to be bullied by the corrupt authorities anymore, I couldn't do. It was as if I was telling lies to my daughter, of being powerless and hopeless. I don't have the money, I don't have the weapons, I don't have the legal court that is stronger than Children's Social Services. They've overpowered and outnumbered me. They have more money, more weapons, more legal rights. So it's as if I have been lying to her. And that's what broke my heart. That's what gave me trauma of 2 years of non-stop crying. There was nothing that could comfort me. And I remember going on for weeks without eating or being I passed out. I fainting. And then when I come round, realising it was a head injury caused by trauma, constant grief from these kidnappers. Constantly focusing and abusing me and my daughter in the situation of having a back injury, they've ignored. Of moving home and the bad stress of moving home, they've ignored. Of having sickness and diarrhea and not being able to recover from psychiatric drug pushers of mental health services calling me a psycho, abuse on me, wrong diagnosis, wrong treatment, they've ignored. Having a positive constituents and compliance with mental health services to say I'm not a criminal, I'm not a mad woman, they've ignored. Looking for help to the police for being stalked and spied, they've ignored. So all of this, they're saying disinformation is power, ignorance is power, is so far worked out for the devil and evil. It's not worked out for my good or my daughter's good. So I may come across as cheerful and chatty, but I am not. I am very serious about the fact that I have these death threats, being defamed for being a victim, being demoralized for being a marginalized community, for being poor. I'm automatically treated as a type of a prostitute or a pimp. They assume that I'm smoking. They assume I am hating life for being poor. I don't hate my life. I don't do self-harm. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug user. I value my life. And I would never want to commit suicide, even when I was tortured. I said, God, my life is in your hands. My soul, my spiritual body, my physical body is in your hands. Even though the devil has taken too much away from me, I had cried. I'm not going to have self-pity. I'm crying because of having physical and emotional pain from constant abuse. If you're slapped on the face constantly, you would cry. If you have your hair pulled out or pushed in, imagine someone pulling your hair, or imagine someone pushing your hair in your body. That would hurt. Ingrown toenails. I don't have ingrown toenails. Never have. But it's still torture. Tortured over and over again causes you to cry. Not because you're feeling sorry for yourself. Not because I'm depressed. I'm not someone that is going to be chilled to my core because I'm depressed. No, I'm not depressed. I'm forced to be damned. The innocent to be carrying a guilty sentence. Too many professionals having unprofessional conduct and enabling crime to increase in England because of these corrupt governors, Satanists and devil workers that are in control of gossipers, social and economic, and also in control of everything. And so I can never complain. I'm not depressed. I'm being damned. I'm crying not because I feel sorry for myself. I'm crying because of pain. So all of these that does matter. I cannot complain. If I complain, it doesn't get me anywhere. Contacting the ombudsman doesn't get me anywhere. Even if I have compensation or a charity that would give me support, charity without love and care is useless. So it's useless for me to complain. It's useless for me to have any charity. I'm back to square one. So everyone can be especially very happy except for me. Because they have big families, because they're employed, because they have protective systems and security systems. So they're all happy, they're all having their Christmas parties while I'm alone, independent, no friend, no family because of these kidnappers. No one wants to have anything to do with me because of kidnappers. No Christmas party, no party whatsoever, no festival. These tyrants had overtaken my society, have overtaken my recovery package, have overtaken everything. Everything in my local area. Even if I was to go abroad and leave England, they would still track and trace me abroad. It comes down to, who do you know socially, financially? Who do you know? Do you have money? Do you have weapons? If you don't, then you're a nobody. That's the case for a degree professor who has a degree. Again, how much money do you... So a degree is nothing. Having a degree is nothing. Having evidence of crime is nothing without money and weapons. So fame and fortune, fame and fortune. If you don't have fame, you don't have fortune, you might as well be dead. So this is what's wrong with the society. What about faith in God? Where is that? Is God dead? God doesn't live. So every time I had gone to court, I was independent. There was no one that would come with me. Every time I invited someone or had a meal with somebody that was a capitalist or a colonialist or a white supremacist or a black supremacist, that meal would be a sign of betrayal. No matter how lovely it is, it could be pancakes, it could be hot cross buns, it could be a beautiful birthday cake. All of that is betrayed. All the food that I eat socially is betrayed because I'm not one of them. And I have evidence of that, who is someone who is 30 years older than me, has betrayed my trust and my company and my presence because she knows I'm not a capitalist, I'm not a colonialist, and because she knows that I am a single woman, I'm not married. Betrayed by a grandmother or a granddad because they know I don't have the fame and the fortune. So this is horrible. It's a horror similar to someone who has a head injury or concussion and is asleep and doesn't wake up for many months, sometimes years, and then they wake up. That's how I would express this crime against humanity in my life. All the crimes my ex-husband did is actually amplified, enriched, made bigger. So how terribly I am that in this case to say the damage is all been done, it's all too late now. Not based on my feelings or my logic to try and resolve the problem or my experience of my past or future plans, none of that. I just feel it's not even about my feelings. It's a fact that this is what the corrupt government has created in our society. The more people stay silent and cowardly, the more this is going to get out of hand, out of control. So again, in closing this video, well, in another half an hour, I'd probably close after this public discussion. I have a bin bag here, so it can't be bigger than that. It's ready to go out. Sometimes I do it in the morning, sometimes I do it in the middle of the day, sometimes I do it in the evening, so the enemy doesn't ever know when it is. Unpredictable timing, so that they don't know. Because when the enemy is watching me, they say, oh, she's going out exactly at a certain time of the day, so that's when we will come out at the same time when she's emptying her rubbish. Or they will put some smear poison on my rubbish bin, so I have to wear some protective gloves. Or I would just simply, when I open my bin bag, use a little bag like this to use it as a glove to touch it, because it could smear some poison on my bin lid. Oh, so these evil gossipers would go around saying, oh look, here she comes, here comes trouble, when they're the ones who are troublemakers. No laughing matter. So anything that I'm doing to try and help myself become stronger, it's a risk. And I could fall down the stairs. I have to be very careful going down the stairs very slowly. And so that makes common sense. And not have anything heavy, carrying anything heavy. I have to do it very slowly. The same way when the police officer tells the car driver driving a vehicle, there's rules on the road where you have to slow down your speed to be safe, for safety. And it depends who's telling me the rules. And my body distancing. If someone has very bad body odor or bad breath, I want my social distancing. Doesn't wear deodorant, doesn't clean with flannels or do any type of wash. If I don't have a bathroom that works, I do wash. I do have my flannels. And other sponges that I use to wash and exfoliate my skin. It's nice and soft with a kettle. Just dip it in. And it's sanitized because I wash it in a washing machine. It smells beautiful. So these enemies have constantly attacked my bathroom, my everything, all the facilities, every area of my life, every aspect of my life they've attacked. Because of spies. Stalkers that are challenging and competing with me in an evil way. They're not watching me for good. So it's the devil of racism, it's the devil of all these devils. So to bounce back to life as a bouncy ball, so I have to remember who's giving me the rules to safety. So if I tell my daughter, these are the rules to keep you safe, she will ignore it. So don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what the rules are. Because you can't talk. You're a victim. Because you're a loser. You're unemployed, sick and disabled. Don't tell me what to do. So that's how they've taught my daughter to disrespect me. Adding to that, they've damned me so that I cannot recover. And every time I open the window, these pests come in the window. It's annoying. So she may be insulted if she ever gets engaged as a result. Somebody in my daughter's social circle may mock and insult her for her fiance giving her a cheap wedding ring. That's a cheap wedding ring you've got on your finger. Or you have a cheap car. You have 3 jobs. You're a slave for the devil. Because of the way she's insulted me. Maybe she'll have cancer or become very sick herself one day and come to me for help or cry to me for help. I won't be there to help her. Because she's ignored me for the past 2 years, and in total 7 years, she's allowed the enemy to take control, total control of her life. In the sense that she's come to hate me and not like me because of what they're teaching her. That's not her fault. But she must be disciplined by me, and by me alone, and by God's help, who is there with me, so that she can learn a very lesson the hard way of what she's done through colonialism and capitalism. It's going to take her many years to learn that, so she can find herself and her roots without my intervention. But if she comes to me, there will be consequences and she will be disciplined for that. However, I will not want to help her at all. Financially, emotionally, she has to find help from God and Jesus Christ. She cannot have help or healing from me if she's ever in danger, if she has crisis. Not because I hate my own daughter, it's because I know that she's not being herself. She's being controlled by demons. So, again, it's not my job to expel demons, it's God's job to expel demons. Many priests and priests have died as a result of trying to do an exorcist. And I'm not going to take that risk. I've died enough for her. I've sacrificed enough for her. The death of my life, over and over again, because of my so-called daughter in the the dead dad that she's worshipping. I've sacrificed enough for my daughter. I taught her what is right and what is wrong. I told her this is safe and this is not safe. And she knows how dangerous witchcraft is. She's been watching Harry Potter videos, and I've been teaching her, saying, these Harry Potter videos, this is your social network, this is your school here. This is wrong, this is right. She knows. From age 9, she was watching Harry Potter videos. So see that? That's your teacher there. So the truth is, my daughter could hardly believe in God again because she's disappointed, and she will not allow me to discipline her. God is the only one that can discipline my daughter, whether she allows God or not. So it's nothing to do with disappointment. It's everything to do with disciplining our children and protecting our children. Since I can't do either of that because the government is in the way, I have to let go. She has to let go. She's disowned me. It's as if I've never given birth to her. The birthright has been stolen. Created by some nasty adulterer and racist thug who I have never provoked until now. Now I'm provoking them doing this video. They've attacked me unprovoked. I've never provoked them before, but now I'm provoking them because I'm speaking the truth. Saying this is my problem and the government caused it. And I caused none of it. Which is injustice. So my justice, in fact, is being able to reclaim my freedom, my peace, my joy, my happiness in Jesus Christ, and my independence away from my daughter and my relatives. So you've done enough damage. I'm damaged good for you. I've sacrificed enough for you that you won't even acknowledge. It was always your word at the beginning and the end as a god and a goddess. Always you expecting people to worship you as a god and goddess. You're always right and I'm always wrong as a god and goddess. You might as well be a mother to yourself and a father to yourself, because you won't listen to your own parent who is loving. Now, I didn't have to listen to my parent because they were unloving. They never gave me financial or emotional support, never. They've never given me security, never, as an outcast or orphan. So I have a right to ignore or not listen to evil parents that are child abusers. Whereas my daughter has no right because I've never abused her. So she has no right not to listen to me by God's law. So I brought her up for 10 years. Now the devil's bringing her up for 10 years, saying that she's better off in her university, in her career. How is she better off getting her degree and can't find a job? Or getting her contraception and still getting pregnant or miscarrying? How is she better off? Dunce, Dumbo. So again, returning to the subject of my previous video of Zizi and Kiki, that I will eventually show everybody. All betrayers and destroyers of the truth and of Jesus Christ are the same as rodents and vermin, pests, because they are godless criminals. And worse than that, they are anti-Christ. So they're hate criminals, that's bad. What's worse than a hate criminal is being an anti-Christ, making systems that oppose the truth and support to those who are victims, which is anti-Christ. All victims are bad, apparently, according to the system and the criminal law system in England, United Kingdom. If you're a victim, it must be your fault. If you had domestic abuse or divorce, it must be your fault. If you had your child taken away from you, it must be your fault. So the victim is always wrong, the villain is always right. In England, United Kingdom, and all the rich countries in the world. So there's many rich countries in the world, and even the third world countries. The Bible says in the book of Revelation that this adulterated woman and her men that she whored after are influencing politics and the government, making all the blood of the saints in her cup, in the anger of the devil, who knows its time is short, to destroy God's people. Compared to the anger of God, in God's cup are the blood of the wicked, where we're going to soak our feet in the blood of the wicked for God's anger, for their wrongdoings and wickedness, and God is going to give us God's vengeance. Whether I'm alive or dead, God has given me justice, setting me free from my sin, being married to the devil, my divorce, setting me free, and they want to recreate that. So we have that contrast of what that wicked one, the bad rebel angel, is doing in their cup of anger, surviving the devil's sword, versus surviving God's swords and God's cup of anger. So that's the contrast of the war, the battle between good and evil. Just so I can keep my independence, just so I can keep my sanity going, and not being overwhelmed, but to have an overflowing of the truth that sets me free. That's how I will say goodbye to my relatives if they are watching my social media. Bye. You're a byword. I want nothing to do with you. I don't want you on my social media. Not because I'm sad, it's because I know what I want and I don't want you. That's what I have to say. If my daughter or any of my relative is watching my videos, I have said goodbye. Mind your own business. Go away. Get lost. Go to hell. Because they're not sorry. They think I'm sad. Why should I be sad? I'm not the guilty party here. You are. What do you mean? We don't understand. Well, go and be confused somewhere else. I'm not going to have to explain myself or justify myself to my enemies that they have deliberately put on my social media path. I'm doing this video for myself, to remind me that I have said goodbye. Bye. And bye again. No, I don't want them in my future. God doesn't want them in my future. My true friends and family in Jesus Christ, and those who are decent, who have a healthy living and lifestyle, who have employment that is not worshipping the devil, who have blocked their eyes, see no evil, hear no evil. We don't want the same criminal in my future. I don't want it on my phone. I don't want it on any of my resources. I don't want it on my phone, in my home, anywhere, on my clothing, or all my resources I have, all my new friends and family in Jesus Christ I have in my social community. I don't want the devil anywhere near these things that are mine. I don't want the devil around me. I want the past and history to be gone. And the things that I want to stay from history is my choice. It's not the government's choice. So I'm feeling very angry, not very sad. Imagine having the devil whisper in your ears, do this, do that. Isn't that bad? Creepy? Freaky? Oh, gives you goosebumps. Stop whispering in my ear, devil. Stop tempting me, teasing me, tormenting me, torturing me. It should be done to you the other way around. Left, right, or centre government whispering in my ear. Or I wear my earplugs and get an ear infection, no earwax, so I can block my ears and don't listen to it. As a rebel angel who's disguised as a good angel, it's going to tell me what to do. That's horrible. But imagine something worse, the devil kissing in your ear. A sloppy, wet kiss. Wouldn't that annoy you even more? Somebody constantly kissing in your ear. I'm Judas the Iscariot. I've betrayed you because of money and capitalism and colonialism. It's not your neighborhood. It's not your home or your house. It's not your money in your bank. Constant. Imagine that. Wouldn't that make you angry and annoyed? Whispering is bad enough. How much worse it is a wet, sloppy kiss of a dog or dog slurping in your ear. So these slave masters are very bad, and I want to remember this video and everybody following me. It says this is how they get their power and their money. They enslave everybody. Particularly targeting the poor with Agenda 21. It's all about slavery, racism, encoded in the modern government that we are responsible to we're responsible with God's help to expose and uncover these secret codes for slavery, secret codes for racism and abuse that targets hospital patients and those who are claiming state benefits, welfare system, for them to get more money for weapons and wars. Get rid of the welfare system, and those who are relying on basic survival are targeted for abuse. It's very strange that no one is speaking, no one wants to stop it, no one wants to uncover their secret codes. So this is not normal. I'm making noise, I'm speaking out into the public about it to say there's something very abnormal about this. That's why I said it's devilish, it's satanic. It's a ritual that's going on in all businesses, in all politics, in all professional life, that I have to choose the same as Moses had to choose and say, I would put my scepter of royalty, my scepter down, my staff, and I will let you put me my profession of faith to be my priority and receive a new scepter and a new staff of royalty for Christ. So Moses had to put it down and not be professional in the world of Satan and the devil and the fallen rebel angels, but to be only accepting God and the holy angels, as he saw that holy fire in the burning bush. But he couldn't see anything like it. Nowhere else like it. And it was recorded, and it wasn't imagining, it was a real event. That there is a fire, a holy fire that exists that doesn't burn like the natural elements. It's a holy fire that doesn't burn the flesh, it burns the spirit. So God's sword can penetrate and attack the spiritual body. I said there's two bodies. There's a physical body and a spiritual body. And every time Moses communicated and had holy communication, he had so much light. He was bright. So I'm not missing anything from all those high-flying career individuals and those who have very big family, because having the presence of God is more important to me in the light and the life in my spiritual and physical body that gives me help and healing and love. So why would I be missing? It's like being in God's presence. It's like being in the best vocation, the best holiday, and a beautiful resort of an island or Love Island or whatever they go, a Caribbean or whatever they go. That's how it feels like to experience God's love and light and life, while they experience it through lust and lame excuses and all types of being too late, the damage has already been done, and all of these things that they do to get their holidays, their recreations, creating things, getting their recreative drugs, all the things that they do, which is a bad light. It's a bad light. It's not a good light. In opposition. So whoever's listening to my message in closing for 1 hour, nearly 2 hours. When I told my daughter go and tidy your room, she would do it. She would respect me. I wouldn't tell her to do chores that were not for her age. I was doing the chores mainly. And I became very sick, and I'm still not recovered. However, in closing this video, if you go to somebody who is in a war zone, and this is my life now, and you tell that person, you've been bombed, I know you've been bombed, and you can't see where your chair is, you can't see where your table is, but I still want you to go and clean your house. Isn't that mad? To do that to someone who's been bombed? That's exactly what these invisible enemies are doing through surveillance and censorship and disinformation. They're bombing me as an invisible enemy in a spiritual sense before they start on the physical sense. So they've started on me spiritually, constantly attacking my time, my resources, my studies, my therapy, by invisible bombing, destroying my time and all of this that I'm trying to fix. And so I cannot fulfill my daughter's promise for me to help and heal her when I can't help and heal myself, and I'm constantly being bombed. So first of all, they start spiritually, attacking my phones, attacking my resources, attacking my privacy, and then second of all, they want to do it physically. They cheat the humblest of justice as a result. So to add in closing with Tommy Robinson, what he's doing, which is very important, he's saying that England doesn't want Islam to be in this country because it's no longer a Christian country as a result. But the more he's saying that, and the more money he gets and who gives him that money to do that, the more hostile and civil unrest we have, civil war in England as a result. Which becomes very ugly, like Cinderella and her ugly sisters, as in my life. The more I say to someone, you're wrong and you're the opposite of what I believe, the more they attack. So there must be another way around it. And they're saying that they have to privatize everything to have peace and safety, which is also a fraud. To privatize everything to have peace and safety is a fraud. At the end of the day, what we need is to be able to keep a promise and to highlight who is the political bully and not give them a position of power. When we find a political bully, we have to corner them and dismember them and block them from making any progress, make them lose their jobs. That is true justice, to say this is a political bully, this is a ringleader, this one's causing civil unrest. So there's very little consequences for these criminals. And we need to have enormous courage to expose evil. So civil war and civil unrest is evil. Privatizing everything is evil. Saying that we will be safe if we constantly have to fight is a bad smell, is a bad odor, is evil. We shouldn't have to constantly fight to reclaim peace or to reclaim safety. We should have our boundaries and say, this is my private safe space. You don't belong here. You're invading me. I can't say that because I'm severely disabled. I can't go into the loft and investigate myself. If I could go in the loft and find the secret camera in the loft, which is my ceiling floor, the loft, then I could say that. Since I can't do that, I can't say that. So we also have to smoke them out, not with Marlboro cigarettes. We have to smoke them out as you smoke out the rats. What would be the smoke in closing this video? I don't know. How do we smoke out these rodent vermin who are constantly spreading disinformation under the disguise of professional or political titles? I think probably the ashes of the saints who have been burnt alive, in fact it should have been the witches and the wizards that are burnt alive and the monsters. We have to rise from our ashes according to the Bible. Use holy truth and holy religion, backed up by long suffering and endurance, backed up with evidence, to say, this is mine. Give it back. That's the smoke. And rising from our ashes to say, I have suffered for my truth. I have my truth here. I have a copy of it. What are you doing with it? This is mine. I'm the owner. I'm the other information that you have silenced me and censored me. To say, you've silenced and censored me. I will fight you to death for the truth that you have stolen. So rise from the ashes is speaking out. More people have to speak out. More people have to copy their information. This is the holy smoke. To smoke out the vermin, the criminals. So if we have in closing, as the Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe children's film, the good animals versus the bad animals, the good people versus the bad people. There's nobody that's good, only God can make us good. So we need to make this country, not force anybody to convert into religion, but simply say Religion will stand against crime against humanity. Religion will stand against kidnappers. Religion will stand against oppressing the poor. True religion would stand against spying and stalking women and making them less intelligent as stupid because they're not educated or because they don't have capital. So that's how I close my video. Capitalism and employment isn't everything. Intellectualism and high IQ for a degree and all of this is not everything. And I am not what I eat. I am more than my food. That's how I close my video. Incomplete, as Maria, and my new name is also Mims, in short, Mima.